Hey guys, and welcome back to a new video on this channel. I'm Sabi from Code Revolution. So today I will be showing you how to scrape brightside.me. So this is a specific website I want to emphasize on because it is very hard to scrape, and for conventional scrapers it will be impossible to scrape correctly. So this is possible to be scraped with Crawlomatic, but only if it is combined with Headless Browser API. So I created the Headless Browser API service to render JavaScript rendered content and to serve it to Crawlomatic. And like this, Crawlomatic will be able to import content also from websites like this, like brightside.me, which is heavy JavaScript rendered. And if we check here and click, you saw that these blank boxes appear before the actual content appears for us. So let me click on a link, and it is yeah, so you saw there was a fraction of a second when these blank boxes appear, and only afterwards the content is loaded. So the issue is that conventional scrapers get the blank box content only. So these are some placeholders for the content, and they are used to make the page appear to load faster. And conventional scrapers don't get the information which comes after the initial loading. They get only the blank boxes and they will not be able to function. However, I implemented Headless Browser API to solve this issue and to fix this problem. And if we combine the Crawlomatic plugin with Headless Browser API, it will work and will be able to import content from also these sites like brightside.me. To enable the Headless Browser API feature in Crawlomatic, you have to enter your API key here in the Headless Browser API key in Crawlomatic, but this is optional. Keep in mind, this should be done only if you want to scrape content like brightside.me or other similar stuff. So I will link headlessbrowserapi.com on this video's description, so go ahead guys and check it if you want. Also, let me show you two examples in this video. So this will be a longer video. First example will be a single scraping. So I will be scraping an example post, which will be a single scraping example, and afterwards I'll be showing you how to serial scrape this website. So you can also input the website's main URL. So for example, this URL, and you can tell the plugin go ahead and scrape all posts that appear here, and you're good. Okay, so let me start up. I wrote here the steps that you will need to configure the plugin to make importing work and also to look nice. And I will add these in this video's description, so you can find all these also down on the bottom. Okay, now let's go ahead and start single scrape. So I mixed this up, so this is the serial scraping and this is the single scraping. Sorry for this. Okay, so now it is fixed. Okay, so now let's start with single scraping. So for this I will use this example URL, and let me show you why it is important to use Headless Browser API in case of these pages. So now let me set up importing and let me run just this, and let us see how the plugin will import the content, because as you see, it manages to import content. However, if we go and click, we will see that there will be no images here. So the original post is this, and there are many images here, but on the scraped content we got only this image from the top, and there are no images in rest. So I can also go ahead and try to force the plugin to import content. So let's see, I want to get all the content that it is included in the data test ID div from here. So this is an advanced step. We can do this and we can tell the plugin to get all the content from this data test ID by using this settings field. So we need to set the content query string and content query type. So for this, copy the content query type, go to settings and search for content query type settings field. Afterwards, search and select XPath here. And the next step that we need to do is select the content query string and input this. Okay, so I copy this and paste it here. Okay, now save settings and check how things will look after I made this change. So we will see that something changed and there are much larger spaces now in the content. So this is the first step, but images are still not there. Now we need to step in with Headless Browser API and select Puppeteer node from Headless Browser API. This will make the images and JavaScript rendered content appear in our HTML. Also, in the case of this website, we need to make Headless Browser API wait a bit until the images appear in the API context. So for this, I want to use also Headless Browser wait before rendering pages to 5000. This means that 5000 milliseconds, which are 5 seconds. So the Headless Browser API is instructed to wait 5 seconds before it returns the website HTML to us. So now let's save settings. Let's delete the old post that was imported and let's re-import content. Now after this, we will be able to see improvements in the imported content because the Headless Browser API will render our images. So we will see also that importing takes a bit longer because of that timeout we entered. So now if we refresh the post that was imported, we will see that we have images, but still we have these large blank spaces. I will show you guys how to remove them in a second. So the entire article has images on the top, and let me show you also how to remove the large blank spaces. So if you inspect here, inspect element, we can see that we have some SVG elements which take up this large space. So for this, simply select this, so search for strip HTML elements by tag name, and after you found this, write here SVG. This will strip all the SVG tags from the HTML that we scrape. So this is the first step we need to do, and let's delete the post we scraped and let's rerun importing to see how stuff will improve in this case for us. Okay, so don't forget that this will have the additional timeout. Okay, and now if we refresh here, we will be able to see huge improvements on the scraping part. So there will be no spaces, there will be images, and yeah, it will look nice. So this is how you can scrape a single article from brightside.me. Also, I wrote here some additional stuff. So strip HTML elements by XPath. This is a useful expression to strip also ads from the source site. So the source site has some ads in the content sometimes, and if we enter this, so in the strip HTML elements by XPath, you can enter this expression, and it will also strip ads that might appear in the content of the pages. So here it is, scraper start URL, the URL you want to scrape from brightside.me, content scraping method Puppeteer Headless Browser API, wait before rendering pages 5000 milliseconds, which is 5 seconds, to also render lazy loaded images, strip SVGs from the content. Also, the content we should get is the HTML tag which corresponds to this XPath, and also strip HTML elements by XPath using this expression to remove ads. Okay, so this is all the settings you will need to scrape single posts from this website. Okay, now let's go ahead and scrape multiple posts by serial scraping. So for this I will duplicate this rule because I want to keep settings that I already posted there. I deactivate the schedule of these rules so I can only manually run them. So the automatic running will not interfere with this testing. You should leave this at active if you want to run at a schedule you're importing. And also remove the post that was imported so we can check things again. So now let's delete the part that we don't want and leave only the home page of the post of this website. Okay, so for serial scraping we can start from here, and afterwards we should click settings. There the settings here are correct already. All we need to do is go down here and check the do not scrape seed URL. So this URL will not be also scraped for content, it will only be crawled for links. So this is the difference between scraping and crawling, that scraping imports the content and crawling imports only the links that will be scraped for content on afterwards. Okay, so we also need to tell the plugin form from where exactly should it import the links from the source page. So for this I used this XPath. So let me show you immediately how I managed to get this XPath. So data test ID, title, link. So if we go to the main page here and inspect on a title here, we will see that the title link, the A element of the HTML A element, which is the link, contains data test ID title link. So like this you can tell the plugin, hey, you can crawl these links, all links that have this data test ID title link on their links. Okay, so in the HTML of the links. Afterwards we will be able to leave everything that we set previously the same, only we should reverse crawling order, because in this page there are also other links that match this query, and we need to get them at the end. So at the end of scraping, and like this they will not be scraped. Okay, so after we check the reverse crawling order, script scraping of posts if they don't match the content query type. So this is also important to not scrape other stuff that don't match this data test ID. So the links that we returned from crawling might lead to also to some profile pages which we don't want to scrape. We only want to scrape these articles. So by checking this checkbox, we will not be scraping profile pages because they will not match this query string and query type, because they don't have article content in their HTML. Okay, and this is also all I have to do is save settings, and now let's run importing. So now the plugin will start the serial scraping. It will get content from brightside.me. It will parse it and it will get the links from it. And afterwards it will crawl each link and scrape the contents of these links. So this will enable me to not enter all post URLs like this one by one, just add the source page where the links are listed, and here we are, the plugin will be able to post them. So if we refresh, we will be able to see that content is pretty much imported. And if we check the brightside.me page, so we got this 18 cunning pets. Okay, so it seems that this was imported. So this is the post that we got. So 18 cunning pets. And here the images are also scraped. Okay, so yeah, don't forget, I will link everything that I talked about. I will link Crawlomatic in this video's description. I will link Headless Browser API in this video's description, and also I will link all these configuration that you should do with Crawlomatic and in the Headless Browser API settings, just to configure importing and scraping from this source. So yeah, this is all for today. I hope you enjoyed this content. If you liked it, please hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. It is really appreciated. And until next time, have a nice day, stay safe, bye bye.